So I was running at my mate's house the other week and he says, "Hey, Al, come look at this." And we went into his garage and he got out some aluminium solder rods like this. So he gets his blowtorch out and starts to try and melt these things. And would they melt? Would they bugger? So I thought, this is a challenge I'm gonna take up. I want to see if I can do better than this. So I kind of came home. I went on eBay and I ordered a pack of 10 for £5 and 9p delivered. So they came pretty cheap to the door. I thought I'd see if we could make a better effort of actually doing something with them. See how it goes. If you've seen the adverts on social media for these things, then the first thing you've probably seen is them fixing the hole in the bottom of a can. And as they make it look so easy, I thought we'd try that first of all. So we've just got a can with a small hole. And if that works, we'll move on to a big one, see if we can fill a bigger hole just as easily. And then I'm going to move on to a bit of aluminium angle. So just see if I can solder that onto the end of there. See how much effort it takes and heat it takes. And if we can actually pull it off, see how strong it is. And if that works, we're going to do something a bit fancy and see if we can solder up this pipe and make a nice angle. So it'd be really cool if basically it's good for soldering things together and making structures. So you can make bends in pipes all of a sudden in aluminium and make frames out of things quite easily, because they don't generally work with aluminium because you can't weld it. So I'm hoping this is going to be a successful experiment. So first thing I'm going to try is a little cooking torch. I doubt we're going to get hot enough to actually melt the aluminium, the can hot enough to do that, but I don't know. But it's worth a try. It'd be nice if it did work. It kind of worked. It's not exactly super neat, but it did do what I expected it to do, or wanted it to do. Ouch, ouch. So let's try the big one now. I was kind of struggling with the heat on that. So basically the only place it would melt was just right in front of the flame. I assume that's because the item itself, with it being so thin, it's not retaining much heat, and also I'm not putting a huge amount of heat in. So I'm going to try a bigger torch for the next one. Uh-oh! Bigger torch did not work. Well, it did. Melted everything. I don't think this aluminium is coated on anything. However, just to make sure there's no lacquer or anything on there and the oxide's gone, give it a quick once over with the stainless brush. And that's actually what the instructions say to do. They do say to use a stainless brush to clean up your item before you tie and solder it. Do the same to both halves. I'm going straight for the big torch on this one. Plan C. I have to crack out my brand new purchase, my new garage toy, the map gas, which is supposed to be hotter. So hopefully it's just not going to melt the end off it. Struggling to get the actual rod to melt and stick to the item. Whoa, it's certainly hot. Okay, round two. I've moved the camera away a little bit. I'm going to throw as much heat at it as possible and see where we get to. Well, it melted, kind of. It doesn't look like it stuck to the bottom section. Just give it a minute to cool down. Let's see. That'd be a no then. See, it's got so hot, look, the aluminium's actually starting to deteriorate there. Right, I'm going to get a grinder. I'm going to put a little bevel on that edge, so there's plenty of gap for the solder stuff to get into should it actually flow. The aluminium's melting before the actual stick is, which is a bit of an issue. So I've gone through about half the little solder sticks now, and I'm going to say, I think I've been defeated. So I thought over time I'd learn how to make them flow and melt and make something useful from them. But I can't get them to work. And so I've spent a good hour or so trying to make them work and then just not getting anywhere with it at all. And so the base metal is actually melting faster than the sticks in most cases. So if you got my skill sets, if I were you, I'd save your money, because they ain't worth the postage, to be honest. However, I wasn't done. I'm not finished. So I'd heard about a brand. I believe it's one of the earlier brands for the product, called Durafix, an American product. And if you see the original old advert where he fixes the hole in the top of the can, or at least it looks like an old advert, that's the Durafix brand. So I went on a hunt. Now here in the UK, the only place I could get them was actually on Amazon, and where these were £5 and 9p, these were 18 quid. So you get 5 for 18 quid, so less sticks and more money. And rather disappointingly, when they came, the sticks had been snapped in half for 18 quid, and they've been stuffed into an envelope, not official packaging, with a leaflet, which I guess could have been printed anywhere. So I'm not sure I've actually got official Durafix sticks, I'll be perfectly honest. So I guess if it all goes Pete Tong, I can, we'll be doing some reviews on Amazon soon. Anyway, fingers crossed, they are the genuine article. So we're going to go into the same test again, and I'm hoping we'll see some improvements. Fingers crossed. The first and probably only successful soldering job I did with the little sticks was on the can and using the little burner. So we're going to go again on a fresh can, and this time with the small burner and the Durafix. Fingers crossed. Oh my word, just like the adverts, only less pretty. That took absolutely no time at all. It melted quite easily, and it flowed, but it not just flowed, but it was kind of sticky, so it flowed out, then did drop in the hole, so it felt like it was kind of sticking around the edge, and literally just moved around and it filled the hole. Absolutely awesome. Right, got a slightly bigger hole on this can. You just see the aluminium starts to discolour and it's getting up to temperature. There it goes, look. And so it's kind of stretching across the hole. That's absolutely brilliant. I'm forgetting what my left hand's doing now. I've cleaned off all the flash and the nastiness from the experiment with the cheaper sticks, and given them a good clean with a stainless steel wire brush. I did forget to mention that with the Durafix kit, I've got this kind of little micro brush came with it, but I'm just using my big one, it's easier. This little experiment turned out quite expensive because I actually bought this specifically to do this experiment. So if you're lucky enough to have a MAP gas blowtorch, I'm pretty sure it'll do a good job at heating the aluminium to the right temperature quickly to do this job. However, I'm actually going to use this. The metal flowed so easily on the can using the micro torch. I think this would be more than ample, and it's kind of a good experiment to see if it will work with basically cheaper kit, because you can pick these up for about a tenner, whereas this bad boy is about 35. So it's always nice when you can do this job with less expensive stuff. Interesting. I'm struggling to get the heat into the workpiece to melt the stick. So my gas burn's a little bit low on gas today, so it could be short on guts. And also it's quite cold in here, it's about 10 degrees, which probably doesn't help. However, yeah, I'm struggling with it. So we're going to move on to the MAP gas now, because I'm fortunate and I've got one. It probably is possible, but you're going to need some patience, I think. I'm not sure that flowed enough to actually bond well, so I'll heat this up a bit more. Try and wait for the aluminium to start to discolour. So I'm just working behind the flame, although I know it's not the flame that's directly melting the solder stick. And the whole piece is moving, so it's already hot at both sides. That flowed a lot nicer. So just give that a couple of minutes to cool down. I think I was a little bit impatient on my first corner, so I don't think the metal was quite up to the right temperature. So the stick melted and it kind of blobbed and deposited itself. It looked like an old nasty pigeon weld or something. So I'm not convinced that's actually bonded very well at all, and so it looks a mess. Whereas on the back edge I was a lot more patient, got the metal up to a higher temperature, and the stick melted lovely. It flowed dead easy to do. There's just kind of a point where it's nice to use and it's easy to use, and so that's where we got to. And the result at least looks good, so I'm hoping that's relatively well attached. So I'll get some pliers and we'll see if we can pull it off. I'm assuming that side might be better attached than that one. Well, at least that's my guess. I'm going to see if I can peel the crappy side off first. Oh dear. That's not good, is it? Just cleaning the part up to try again. The part that was pigeon welded fell straight off, so it wasn't bonded at all. However, the better looking one on the back, it's actually really well bonded to this, so I can't pull it off, and I'm having to grind it off using the grinding wheel. So that suggests that I got this part up to the right temperature for it to bond well. However, I was probably too impatient and didn't get the base part up to the same temperature. So we're going to go again, and hopefully this time put a bit more temperature in, and fingers crossed it'll attach itself a bit better. It does take more patience than I expected it to start flowing, probably because it's such a chunky piece of aluminium. But we got there. It's not very neat, and I went for putting quite a lot in, so I've used probably half a stick in the two little joints. So hopefully, when they cool down, we've got a decent bond. We shall soon see. Okay, let's see if this is any stronger than the last time. Oh yeah, it is. So, yeah. Structurally, I don't think that would have been strong enough to to hold anything together really. I don't know if it's me that's not doing it right, don't know, not sure. But as that stands, I personally wouldn't make anything structural with that. However, for a piece of artwork or something, that could be handy. So I think we're going to have to keep practicing at this one. So how did the pipe go? Well, I'm not bowled over by my work. So when I first had it on there, it looked like I had a nice even coating, and then you probably saw in the video I knocked it and it all moved apart. So I went over it again quickly, and it's not perfect. You can see perforations through the gaps there where it's not fully sealed. So in terms of flowing anything through it important like water and that, with my level of skill, absolutely not. Not to be defeated, I just want to see if I can improve on it at all. Well, it wants cleaning up better than I have done, so all this wants removing, but it's better second time round. So it does take a bit of practice to get it to flow just right, and to fill the gaps without leaving holes behind, which I can't see any on there. So it doesn't look brilliant, but I can't see any perforations in the corner. However, if you're going to do this for making bends and corners for, I don't know, induction inlets or something like that, I guess it's an option, but it's probably cheaper just to go and buy the bend in the first place. So bearing in mind you've got 18 quids with the solder sticks and the map gas and all the rest of it, it does make it a bit of an expensive toy really. In terms of structurals, I don't think I'd trust it with anything structural, I really don't. I'm curious, should we get the pliers on this, see if we can pull it apart? I don't want to break me a bit of pipe, let's do it. I'm quite a big beefy git, so yeah. Well, I say it took a fair bit of leverage to pull that off, but I don't think it should have pulled off as easily as that. I don't know. I don't think it's really useful for creating anything structural. I really don't. Certainly not with my skill set. And yeah, I wouldn't trust it for anything structural. Maybe for an air inlet or something, but that's about it. But then you might as well just buy the air inlet, the bend off eBay, pre-made, and save yourself 18 quid in sticks and a load of map gas. So overall, I'm a bit disappointed in how it turned out really. I thought I'd get better results than this, but we had a go. I hope it helps. Cheers guys, take care.